Welcome back, everyone, here to Bronx Talks. Today, we got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be talking about Madison Bumgarner and if the New York Yankees should sign him. So, Christian, what are your overall thoughts on the Yankees potentially signing Madison Bumgarner?
I'm a big no, but obviously we're going to talk about this a lot more. I know you're feeling differently, and I think it's not all bad. There is some bright spots that you can dive into, but my initial reaction is I don't like it because if you've seen his baseball savant page, it's just as bad as his actual numbers. So that part of me is I'm all for taking a guy who's had some struggles and giving him to Matt Blake and seeing if he can fix them. But usually a guy like that, they have some underlying numbers, like they're getting a lot of swings and misses, or they're avoiding hard contact. Madison Bumgarner was not doing that at all this year. However, Ryan, he was once probably the best pitcher in baseball, definitely up there. So I get that guys lose it. Like Zach Greinke was also once one of the best pitchers in baseball, but you're not going to expect him to come back at 40 years old. Madison Bumgarner, he's 33. So I think it's very realistic. There's something left in the tank. And also, you're going to be getting him for the league minimum. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, well, the big thing for me is the league minimum. So there's absolutely no risk if he doesn't pitch well. That's really important. Obviously, the Yankees have had a little bit of struggles in their rotation. Guys like Cole and Nestor have pitched very, very well. Brito and Herman have kind of been, in the middle, some good starts, some bad starts. And Clark Schmidt's just been downright awful. So you bring in Madison Bumgarner, not only do you add some depth to that rotation, but you slide him in, and it could potentially bolster the rotation and kind of be a stopgap till a guy like Sevy gets back. And, you give him 1-2 starts and he pitches bad, then whatever, he's done. And Christian mentioned his numbers, his ERAs, I think like high 10s and 3 or 4 starts, and his baseball savant is just bad. But the way I kind of look at that is, yeah, but it's also somewhat of a small sample size, so you can't.
Well, 2022 was also terrible.
Yeah, 2022 was also not that good either. But if you're looking at his baseball savant from this year, I mean, he's pitched bad. He's pitched really bad. The numbers aren't going to give you anything underlying. Last year, he was kind of good for the first half, then just kind of struggled at the end. But, maybe he goes to a winning team like the Yankees, and it's like, here I go. Like, this is it. My career's on the line. Let me show something rather than, pitching with the Diamondbacks, who I know are kind of off to a good start this year, but no one really expects much of anything from them, nor did they last year. So I feel like the motivation factor could definitely be there for Madison Bumgarner. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, the Yankees need some depth of the starting rotation, especially if another injury happens or this or that. But Clark Schmidt has not pitched good at all. So how much worse could Madison Bumgarner be? He's only for the league minimum, and maybe the Yankees should take a flyer on Madison Bumgarner. And Matt Blake could fix him up, and you get a really crafty veteran in there. And then you can do what you want with him from there on out when you get guys like Sevy and Rodon back. But it's certainly interesting, and it kind of makes sense, but it kind of doesn't at the same time. So I really wonder what the Yankees will do.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason we're even talking about this is because it's kind of like a hot topic on Yankees Twitter. People see a big name like Madison Bumgarner gets a fade, and we have a guy like Clark Schmidt who's been terrible every start this season. Some people are going to want him to replace him. So, I mean, it'd be hard to be much worse than Clark. But I will say this. I mean, maybe there is a good chance either the league just figured him out or he kind of just lost it. Because although he's only 33, he debuted at 19 years old. So he's been in the league for a while. His last season where he was an above average pitcher, was 2019, and his really good stretch was 2013 to 2016. He was an all-star all 4 years. So it's definitely a little while back, but I mean, we've 100% seen it with players before. I know this guy's a hitter, but Matt Carpenter, sort of a similar path. Once a pretty good hitter, kind of lost it, then comes to the Yanks and finds it. So very, very different players, but sort of similar in their journey to potentially the Yankees. So overall, if I was Brian Cashman, I would not go out of my way to sign him. But if they do, I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And, how much worse is he going to be than what Clark Schmidt has looked like right now? And if Madison Bumgarner has one bad start and he gets lit up, then just DFA him. It's as simple as that. But if he goes out there and let's say he gives you like a quality start or something, you kind of say, hey, we might have found something here. And another thing is, he pitches in the National League, so maybe coming over to the American League and facing a bunch of new hitters, the hitters in the American League, it might take them longer to make an adjustment. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. But, maybe a change of scenery, heading to the East Coast, playing on a winning ball club, a team with World Series aspirations. I think it could really do something for Madison Bumgarner and light that fire within him again. Because we know he's very much a competitor. Even now, when he's on that mound, he's a competitor. So, it's really, really interesting. I'm sure the Yankees have talked about it. I don't know if they're going to sign him, but it's certainly interesting to see what they do. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're going to kind of hold off for now, and if another guy goes down in the rotation, then sure, we'll sign Mad Bum. He can get a start, see how he does, and fill a void there. But I think the argument for having Clark at time over Bumgarner is that Clark is 20-something years old and was the Yankees' first-round draft pick. Madison Bumgarner is 33 years old and hasn't had a good season since 2019. So, little different. Realistically, the Yankees stick with Clark, and that's that. But if Madison Bumgarner's a Yankee, I'm for it. Let's see what happens.
Yes, totally. And I certainly wonder if they can, because the Yankees, as we know, are very small, very, very short on depth right now in the starting rotation. So I wonder if no one signs Madison Bumgarner to a big league club, which is definitely a possibility. If no one signs him to a big league club, I wonder if he would take a minor league deal with the Yankees. And I feel like if we got Mad Bum on a minor league deal, I think 100%, 10 times out of 10, I'm doing that, Christian, because the Yankees are so short at starting pitching depth, and you just have him in AAA. He's putting up good numbers. Who knows? Maybe he can make a splash later on in the season. So that is definitely something I would do. Although we'll see if he gets signed to a big league club or if he'd even take a minor league deal. So it's pretty interesting. But we're gonna find out what happens here.